Hi everyone, welcome to the community classroom. This is Dr. Tracy McCarthy. We're going to be quickly looking at some resources that have been recently made available through an executive order, and these are for emergency learning scholarships for children and adolescents. This is the specific executive order if you want to look it up. It is the executive order on expanding educational opportunity through school choice. Now, school choice is a highly politicized issue. You have certain individuals in one group, one party, really believing in school choice, and then you have individuals in another political party not believing in school choice. And so this is done through executive order, so hopefully it will continue on through the next administration, although there is a difference in terms of the way the two parties view school choice. So you might want to quickly jump on this opportunity. So we're just going to outline what it covers and how you can access it. This is just a brief outline about why this emergency scholarship opportunity was presented. And so what's been going on is that children who have been basically alienated from school because of this situation, they have not been receiving resources that they would typically receive. These are resources or everything from socialization to actual in-person contact with the teacher and other students, also opportunities to have food, so the nutrition program is not there. And so there are a number of dynamics that are going on with a number of children who are not able to access things that they normally would be able to access if they were in school. And also it's been indicated that a number of children who do not have a lot of financial resources are missing out on the online platforms that are being provided. And so those online platforms are not necessarily beneficial for all children. All children don't learn the same way. And many children have specific needs, and the online platform may not meet those needs. And so there has been a lot of absenteeism with the children in the online platform. And so many children are just pretty much missing in action. And so those parents who have a lot of financial resources are able to mitigate this damage and provide the resources to their children. But those who do not have a lot of financial resources are not as able to mitigate these damages. And so this emergency learning scholarship program is supposed to mitigate the damage, help those parents and those families who don't have those resources to access those resources. So we're just going to jump into the meat of this. Basically, this is providing emergency learning scholarships for students. The Secretary of Health and Human Services is supposed to take steps consistent with law to allow funds to be available to families through the Community Services Block Grant Program. And these programs are established so that children in disadvantaged families can access services to mitigate that damage that we're talking about. And so the funding can be used for tuition and fees for private or parochial schools, because in some instances private and parochial schools are still up and running and they are doing in-person education, even though it's streamlined. They are doing some in-person education, and so students might be able to benefit from that if the public schools are not available. It also provides funding for homeschooling, so if parents want to just jump into the homeschooling paradigm completely, or micro-schooling or learning pods. And so it helps to pay the cost for homeschooling programs, for micro-schooling, for those learning pods, also for special education and related services such as therapies that the child may need, and also tutoring and remedial education. So this is a very important resource that parents and families and communities need to be accessing now. This executive order just came out a few weeks ago, and so you want to access this as quickly as possible. And this is to give you an idea of some of the things that the funding can be used for. So we have tuition. It can also be used to fund educators. So if you're doing those micro school dynamics where you have small groups of children from a particular neighborhood, 8 children, but you need a teacher, this can help to pay for a teacher. This can help to pay for space actual physical space, buildings, furnishings for these micro schools or home schools, school supplies, remedial resources, support services, technology, and creative arts and therapy. And so think broadly when you're thinking about education, because a number of things can fall under that education umbrella. You're also thinking about not just the traditional academics, reading, writing, and arithmetic. You're also thinking about physical education and art and education and creative arts and therapy. And so all sorts of remedial services. So think broadly in terms of what is available and what's possible. Some may be familiar with the idea of homeschooling, but maybe not as familiar with the idea of micro schools. So micro schools are basically small neighborhood schools that enroll less than 10 children. And so during this particular time, there have been some micro schools popping up, and they use the term pods. And you also have families, again, who have resources pooling their money together to hire full-time teachers for the children or part-time teachers for the children or resources for the children in a small neighborhood. And so the children would be in that space with other children that they are used to being around. And so this is just a discussion about why this came about, because many parents became frustrated with the limitations related to remote learning that took place last year and that are continuing on right now. Very quickly, those who are eligible for the Community Services Block Grant include those who are characterized as either having a low income or very low income. And so the goal of this block grant program is the reduction of poverty, basically. And so those individuals who already have means, this is not a resource for those individuals. This is a resource for those who do not have the resources. And if you go to the website, you can see the information for contact for your state. And so these are just some examples of a few of the states, and you can see the contact information. So this is for New York, Texas, and Alabama. This is additional contact information for California, Florida, and Georgia. Much of what is going on right now in the world is very distracting, and so you are encouraged to stay focused, keep your eye on the prize. Remember that the children need these resources to continue on so that they are not stagnant and they are not stagnating. And so you need to do whatever is possible for the children in your home, the children in your community, to make sure that they are continuing to move forward and that they are not suffering unnecessarily because of this situation. Remember, knowledge is power. Take care. See you soon.